Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. This is your host, Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with...
Nicole, a.k.a. Oh Mama.
Woo!
And...
Andrew Newman. I don't have any nicknames, so I thought I was going last or second to last.
Counselor Newman, best damn lawyer in North Carolina.
Ryan Saba. No nicknames this week.
Oh,
I'm embarrassed.
The Browns are doing that bad.
I'm embarrassed. Everybody saw Monday Night Football. It's embarrassing. I don't know. I have nothing to say.
Not everybody.
Still a lot of football left. But before we get into sports action, let's talk about the number one movie in the world right now. Joker, crushing it, just went over 400 million worldwide, 96 million opening weekend. Highest grossing opening weekend of October, not just for R-rated movies, but for just movies in general for the month of October. Made 137 million its first week and just broke into the top 10 of IMDb's highest rated movies of all time.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the film, all kinds of fun stuff. Of course, spoilers will be ahead, so if you've not seen it yet, you may want to sit this one out until you watch it. And we're going to kick things off with Il Mama.
Il Mama. So, going into the movie, you have your history of Jokers. You have Batman 1966, Cesar Romero, who was kind of like your wild card, your kooky, but more comic fun character. And then you had Batman 1989, Jack Nicholson, who was more true to the comic, didn't know if he was going to shake your hand or blow you up.
Right.
He was an excellent, yeah. Then you had Dark Knight 2008, Heath Ledger, who really brought the deep depression, darkness in the Joker, which was phenomenal. Suicide Squad 2016, Jared Leto, he's an amazing actor. Didn't do anything for me.
No. Didn't translate.
And then Joker 2019, Joaquin Phoenix, who is fucking phenomenal. He did a banging job on the Joker that we all know and love in the Batman movies. In the very beginning, you saw a very good development of the character. You were able to kind of walk a mile in his shoes and feel all of, the things that he was feeling. It's so tragic. So tragic. His portrayal allowed you to feel the angst struggle, brought the Joker in Arthur, from the clown makeup to his condition of laughing when uncomfortable, and then of course his suit, which you expected. You got to see his perspective, and it also tied in the Batman history too. So it gave us his history, but it also showed us like where his strife for Batman came from. His anger grew into violence, and then his violence grew into happiness. It seemed as if he was only happy after he killed. But then he also had his sense of humanity, like those who were kind to him.
Right.
Yes. He was also very appreciative of. I loved it. I thought it was an awesome job.
You loved it.
I loved it.
Okay.
What did you think?
I'm actually after Newman.
What did I think?
That's who I was talking about.
I thought it was a very good movie. I saw it yesterday, which was Friday. Today's Saturday. This will probably be out on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah. So, little frame of reference
we've
where
given
we
you
are.
A week to Immaterial.
Watch it, Immaterial. So, this is a movie that I don't think I will see again in theaters, but I'll definitely need to watch one or two more times to really fully figure out what I think about it.
Soak it in.
But I liked it a lot. I didn't have a lot of expectations going in. I didn't have a lot of expectations at all when it first got announced. I was like, who gives a shit? Another crappy DC movie. But it's not any of that. But then it got hyped up a lot. So then I was excited to go see it. And it was good. And there were a lot of things I didn't like. There was a lot that I did like. I think this is a movie that would have been a good movie, whether it was the Joker or not the Joker. It was just a good movie. And it was a very good movie, not because of the script or the story, but how well it was shot, and Joaquin Phoenix's performance was spectacular. And it also was the Joker and another fucking Bruce Wayne Batman origin bullshit, which was not needed to be in the movie. I am not sure, and maybe I'll have a better understanding of this when we're done talking here, of what's real, what wasn't real, what happened, what didn't happen. Obviously, some of it wasn't, and some of it was, but there's a whole lot of gray area. I think I could make cases for either side, and I honestly don't know where I am on it. So I'll probably just poke holes in whatever anyone else says to try to figure it out, because I really don't know.
Right.
But it's a great movie. Everybody should go see it. It's dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's rated R.
It's real dark, yeah.
It is. And I think that's probably another one of the, I wouldn't say cons, but you got, you saw it from his perspective, so knowing what was true, what was real. It's not a comic
book movie.
No.
You hit it right on the head. It's a great film, and that's what I would say when I were talking about a week ago, when you said I was sounding like Billy Walsh. Mm-hmm. Great film. So what was your take on it?
This isn't going to be popular. I didn't go into it with a lot of expectations. I did my best to sort of not talk to people who had seen it, but I also tried to not read any articles about it. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio, Cleveland Sports Talk Radio on Monday or Tuesday.
Shocking.
Well, hold on.
Wow.
And I'm sorry. And they started to talk about it, and I turned it off. So I felt like I did a really good job of trying to stay in the middle. I got a little bit from Brian last week. I got a little bit from Jordan. The only reason I didn't leave is because I had to talk about it today.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So you're going to be one of those that walked out in the middle of it.
What didn't you like?
Yeah.
Let's start with what I did like.
Okay.
I think Newman hit the nail on the head.
Thanks.
I think it was shot very well. I thought they captured 1980s New York very, very well. I thought sort of the colors and that was good. I liked it when he danced. Mm-hmm.
Did you like the music in the background on the stairs? Not a problematic artist
I thought
at
it was
all.
okay. Listen, it felt like Medellin to me. When we talk, we kind of were joking about it before I had seen it. It just felt very Medellin to me. It felt overdone. It felt overwritten. It felt overacted. It felt, there was I didn't think the story was that strong. I didn't think I thought Joaquin Phoenix was playing a caricature of the Heath Ledger Joker. I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I thought the violence was a little The violence felt over the top to me. It felt, everything they did felt very, very deliberate, and it felt very forced. I was not a fan. There was a couple times during the movie where I was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of getting into this a little bit. It just felt like it plodded along to me. I don't know. I really like Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's a great actor. I really enjoy a lot of the things that he's done, going back to, what's the movie where he got put in jail for
not Gone Baby Gone.
In Thailand or whatever for drugs, where the brother and the sister have to go back. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. It goes back to that movie. I think he's an outstanding actor. It may be the worst movie I've ever seen.
Holy
It's just not true.
Shit. I actually wish that we were videotaping this, because the facial expressions in the room are
it's kind of shocking.
all over the place. Wow.
Yeah. I went out, and I'm going to be honest, I was really disappointed. It was one of those things where it didn't really make me feel anything while I was watching it. I was almost more upset because I didn't enjoy it.
He got beat up several times.
Yeah, none of that.
And he couldn't do anything about it.
None of that.
You felt nothing.
Not really.
God.
Damn.
It felt
heartless.
It's not that I'm heartless. I cry at stuff all the time. I cry at
You look like a crier.
I cried at work the other day. By the way.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it felt so forced. It felt to me like Todd Phillips initially went in trying to make it not a DC movie. And they went so far to the left that it was just
So you were looking forward to another shitty DC
That's not-
Comics
that's
book movie?
not-
Because the rest of them have been so good.
First
I
of
really
all-
wish it had been more DC
First of
Comics.
all,
That would have been great.
that's not
Fucking
it at all.
fantastic.
This is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's wrong.
I don't think that you guys are wrong for liking it, but I think that there's a lot of people from what I've heard since I did when I got home last night, I started looking online.
Critics do not like this.
There is a
Right.
lot of people that feel the way that I do.
Nice.
So that's where.
Did you do a little biased research then?
No,
maybe?
I'm telling you, I purposely didn't want to.
It was the highest grossing movie.
So movies sell. I mean, there's dog shit movies. The
October.
Hobbs and Shaw movie sold 750 million worldwide. That's dog shit. You know,
We still love you, Rock.
we do love The Rock, but my point is, I don't know if ticket sales in ticket sales is all relative, because ticket sales are, tickets cost 3 times more money than they used to
Agreed.
15 years ago.
Yeah,
So
they do.
that's I don't know if that's a great
It's not.
indicator.
And I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I mean, that's why we started the podcast. I didn't want to do a podcast and 5 people are going to fucking agree with me on every single thing.
I'm very disappointed. I just want to say that for the record. Like, I'm disappointed that I didn't like it. I'm disappointed that I feel this way.
Right.
Like, I wanted to really enjoy it, but I'm sitting there and I was just like, oh my God, this is so bad.
Not to say that the Joker is a relatable character, but I'm sure there's a lot of qualities about his character that a lot of people probably,
Absolutely.
related with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Feeling powerless?
Yes.
I think we all feel that
We
way
all feel
sometimes.
that way
I mean,
sometimes.
The first 30, 45 minutes, I mean, all you can do is feel horrible for this dude.
Yeah.
Like he's just getting picked on by life. His life is pretty much shit.
It is
He's
shit.
getting
He's a
beat up.
clown for a living.
I mean, that was to me like the first 45 minutes. I was just like, God damn, I'm tired of feeling bad for this fucking
His
dude.
fucking sign was stolen.
Right.
And he actually ran after it.
Right.
Because he knew
But
the
did
guy
he,
was going to.
though?
He did. I don't know. You're making me question everything. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure he got in the refrigerator, though. Like,
Definitely got in the
I'm
fridge.
pretty sure. The one thing I will say, as a side note, when they were talking about making this movie, it was rumored that Scorsese was going to direct and Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be the Joker.
Oh, that would have been garbage.
I don't know.
I
I don't know how much worse it could have been.
Okay,
It's
so
like director of The Hangover, Martin Scorsese,
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix,
Right.
DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Definitely worse on where my right hand is and nobody can
Listen,
see.
I appreciate the artistic nature of it. I applaud Todd Phillips for going outside of his comfort zone.
Mhm.
I think, to me, Joaquin Phoenix, this is sort of an area he's done some strange characters before, sort of gotten into roles. So I didn't think this was as much of a stretch for him, but I think I think Todd Phillips, from that perspective, I thought he did a really good job. And I don't think that Joaquin Phoenix did a bad job. I just think it was a bad movie.
when you
Gotcha.
think of Joaquin Phoenix and the roles that he's played, he doesn't have like a typical
Not at
style.
all.
He's
Not at all.
he's so good at adapting pretty much any role.
Have you seen The Master, where he plays the L. Ron Hubbard character for Scientology? He's fucking phenomenal. I mean, he's great in everything.
He's a
Yeah.
great
He's
person.
one of the first actors I legit hated, not because I met him in person and hated him. His character in Gladiator. I mean, he was
Yeah.
so good
Yeah. He's an
that you
asshole.
hated him.
You
You know
really
what I
did.
mean? You're like,
He's
fuck
playing-
this dude and everything he does in life.
Yeah.
But, he just did that great of a role.
He grew up in like a cult, Children of God, all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
he's weirdo.
Right.
His whole family's fucked up, though.
Oh, we don't talk bad about the dead like that.
Yeah, come on.
Ooh.
He's got many brothers. They got like 6 fucking kids in their family. Like, River's not the only one.
So my take on it is, to me, the film was exceptional. You guys already hit it on the head. I mean, it's shot incredibly well. So
I
going
should've
from
went
same
last.
to bring it back on the lighter side of things. But yeah, it is shot beautifully. Yes, it's Gotham City, but we all know Gotham is just a take on New York, and it
What?
is 1980s, like early 80s New York City. Like Times Square is nothing but prostitutes. It's a dump. It smells like shit. There's rats everywhere. There's not a lot of CGI in this film. This is for a DC movie, and that's the thing. This is not I think Andrew said it best. Like, yes, this is a movie based on the Joker, but it was just a great movie, period. And it just so happens to be about the Joker. So it didn't have, the CGI stuff. One of the main complaints I've heard from people is, well, I like the Avengers better. This isn't the fucking Avengers.
I also like the Avengers better.
Well, yeah, but still, that's two different realms.
It's completely different. I agree.
But Joker is not a hero. He's not a superhero.
Right. And this is a dark look.
I didn't go into it expecting it to be like a action movie or anything.
Right.
So.
I mean, it shows the kind of deconstruction of a man, coming down. Yes, he suffers from depression, anxiety, all that stuff, but what could or could not have happened. I think that's the biggest question, is how much of this movie is reality. Mm-hmm. Obviously we see some scenes in there that are all in his head, but Todd Phillips even went on record saying that the only time that he genuinely laughs is at the end of the movie, where he tells the psychiatrist or whatever, you wouldn't get the joke. Mm-hmm. So how much of the movie actually is true?
And how much of it was actually
right? Because this could have been him, on the outside looking in, seeing someone else do all this shit. Because I did think it was a stretch when I did love it when he was in the back of the cop car and the cops are like,
you did all this, where he's like looking out the window,
right? And they're like, you did all this, and all this anarchy, and Phoenix is like, oh, it's beautiful.
I thought it was powerful.
It's powerful, but to me it was a stretch when the ambulance fucking hit the cop car and then they brought him out and all that shit. I was like, that was the only part of the movie for me where I was like, okay, this is a little bit more of a stretch.
But then he draws his smile on with his blood.
right. But yeah, and as far as lowlights, the only thing, honestly, really, I didn't enjoy about the movie is their choice for the guy that played Alfred.
Oh, it was the worst Alfred in movie history.
Alfred, even though he's only in the movie for literally 2 minutes.
Are we sure that's Alfred?
Who else is it going to be?
They didn't call his name. I'm like, I was assuming too, but they never said it.
When you drop all the other Wayne's names and every other character's name, but you don't drop Alfred's name, he doesn't look like Alfred.
Right.
Well,
and he's a giant pussy?
Yeah, unless he's just the grounds taker, which I'm hoping that's what it is. I hope that dude's not Alfred. I really hope not.
You didn't know the Joker's superpower was reaching through things and being extremely strong?
Right.
I didn't make that connection at all.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was thinking, and I was like, okay, if the kid calls him Alfred, then he's Alfred.
For sure they're going to drop the name.
He didn't, so.
I'm hoping it's not, because that, to me, is probably.
I don't think you're getting an
answer. On a side note, there's a show on Epix now called Pennyworth.
Yeah.
That is based on Alfred. It sort of makes him a superhero.
It's like a Kingsman type thing.
Yeah.
Right? What station is it on?
It's on Epix. So there was a free Epix weekend, it's in the movie channel. So when you're scrolling down, there was a free movie weekend a couple weekends ago, and I watched one episode. It's actually pretty good.
I thought you'd said FX, because that's what channel
EP.
Atlanta is on, which is half the actors in this movie.
That's true.
Very good point. Zazie Beetz.
Yeah. Or Domino. It depends on what movie you want to talk about.
Arkham. But yeah, to me, this was a modern day version of Taxi Driver and Falling Down. And it just so
happened.
Fifth
Element, too. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. They also get into a refrigerator.
True. Very true.
If you have to ask if we've ever seen Fifth Element, you've obviously never listened to this podcast.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, to me, that's a combination of those two movies, and it just so happens to be about the Joker. Like I said, Todd Phillips says that the true story will eventually come out. So, what parts of this movie actually really did happen. Besides that, obviously he's leaving that all up to us to figure out what's real from not real. I thought the acting was good. Cinematography was fantastic. Soundtrack's great. Of course, a lot of Sinatra in there. The scene on the steps where it's Gary Glitter Rock and Roll Part 2 playing, I thought was just fucking amazing.
I didn't like that part.
I wasn't too thrilled with even though I like the one guy who played the cop who was on Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah.
I thought they were really shitty cops. So to me, if there's a part that's fake, is those guys being the cops chasing him. I don't think he was ever really being chased. You've
never been the number one suspect in a murder investigation, and they just periodically stop to ask you questions every couple of days?
Right.
That's how it works.
You in for questioning. Speaking of which, Attorney Newman over here.
Yeah, that's realistic. Actually, cops being shitty at their job is pretty realistic.
But that's my take on it. So before we get into predictions for sequels and all that other fun stuff, normally we would take a little time out to give a shout out to our awesome sponsor and consigliere, our lawyer, Andrew Newman, attorney at law. So we're going to let him shout out himself over here. And then also, too, we're going to ask you the question. If you are the lawyer of the Joker, what would be your kind of strategy or game plan if you were to even attempt
this is the
to
whole
represent him?
advertise myself and answer that extremely long-winded question segment?
Yep.
All at once?
All you, buddy.
Anyway, my name's Andrew Newman. I'm an attorney in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mostly criminal defense, traffic, DWIs, drug charges, other criminal stuff. Depending on what it is, maybe other legal stuff, but mostly just criminal. Phone number you can call or text is 336-663-2388. Any real legal stuff you need, I'll be happy to talk to you and tell you I don't know what to do with that, or to answer your question, one of the two. To Brian's question, who the fuck knows? Whatever that crazy son of a bitch tells me to do, I'm probably going to do. I don't think he's the type of person who probably has a lawyer. I don't think he would listen to whatever his lawyer would say.
Very valid point.
But assuming we're in, Gotham City, you said it's New York City. Let's assume it's Greensboro, North Carolina. Insanity defense is not so much a get out of jail free.
You just love watching that game.
I'm sorry. It's Saturday. South Carolina missed a fucking field goal in overtime to beat Georgia, and I'm looking at it on my phone.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
You get the sports report and the lawyer report.
Anyway, insanity defense, probably the only thing you plead here, because, I don't know what he's charged with, but there's a lot of shit. Right. At least some murders. Insanity doesn't get you out of anything.
Sure.
If you plead insanity successfully, all that means is they lock you up in a mental institution jail until you're no longer insane, and then you go to trial.
Oh.
So, it doesn't really get you out of anything, but I would imagine in Gotham it probably does just mean you're not guilty and you get to go free.
You just had an aha moment about
really
it.
Is that in North Carolina or anywhere?
I have no idea about anywhere else, but that is probably. I don't think there's anywhere.
So you can't use temporary or whatever insanity in North Carolina at all, right?
So there are. We're going to get real specific. There are crimes that require certain levels of intent or mental awareness that you have to know what you're doing. And so certain things can get in the way of you having the actual intent to commit
and premeditation,
a crime,
too, right?
Different types of murder, yeah. So first degree murder is premeditated, like you planned it out. Like Sayo keeps interrupting me, so later on tonight I'm going to fucking shoot him. It's first degree murder. If I just get really angry right now and do it, it's probably second degree, except not after I've just made this statement. Now I'm probably in trouble. So we're going to need to cut all this. A DWI is not an intent-based crime. You don't have to have any intention to do it, which is why you can be asleep in your car. You don't have to be trying to drive. So insanity, your mental state, it all plays a part. But the general, you see it on TV or movies, hey, I'm going to plead insanity, I'm free. No, you're not. You're going to arguably a worse jail where you're just in a padded cell.
Right.
Until you're no longer crazy. And what makes you crazy is not necessarily acting like a lunatic. It's your ability to help your lawyer prepare a defense.
Okay.
So if I represent Brian Hernandez over there for multiple murders and riot inciting and shooting some guy on TV.
The night is young.
Whatever else they did. If you can't help me prepare the defense, if you can't talk to me and explain your side of things or what you want to do and you can't communicate, they will send you off for an evaluation and a judge will have to rule on it. And eventually, if it comes down the line, it's still generally a better outcome than just the death penalty of prison, but it doesn't really save anything.
Right.
Less serious things than murder. If you plead insanity and you spend 10 to 15 years in a mental institute, maybe the state of North Carolina won't feel so inclined to retry your case with no witnesses from 10 to 15 years ago when you get out.
Gotcha.
Murder on live TV, they probably got you there. You're probably not going to wait that one out.
Yeah.
But Heath Ledger gets out at some point and goes crazy, so, somebody worked out for him. Something worked out. And maybe they had another one of those breakouts at that. It's a terrible city to live in, by the way. The mental institutes, they just break out all the time.
Yeah, Arkham's not that great, apparently.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Paper mache walls. Andrew Newman, attorney at law, party people.
You want to give your number one more time?
336-663-2388. Call or text. Criminal defense.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
I'm going to put a little hand clapping sound effect in there.
So, in terms of a sequel, my assumption is based on the ticket sales and based on the polarizing response that there will be one. If there's a sequel, I'll go see it. I mean, it's a situation where Look, they're obviously in the sequel. They're going to introduce some sort of a Bruce Wayne situation as an older, older teenager or young 20s. It'll probably go, how old do you think he was? Maybe 12, 11, 12. It'll probably go in advance 10 or 15 years.
Right.
And my guess is, it'll be some sort of that situation. I don't know. I mean, I hadn't put a lot of thought into it because I was still so busy trying to unpack my feelings about it.
Apparently.
But yeah, I think there will be a sequel. I think it makes sense. And, some sort of interaction with Batman, maybe a sort of rise of Batman, kind of almost like,
Dark Knight Rises.
Like, no, more like Gotham. The TV show Gotham, where they sort of show him becoming a detective and dressing up not in the full Batman suit, but sort of becoming a vigilante crime fighter / detective. I see something along those lines. So, yeah.
Attorney Newman, what you get?
I would give the movie like a B+.
Oh, we're doing that after.
Oh, we're doing that after? I thought we were doing ratings.
No, sequel.
I don't think there's going to be a sequel, so I don't really have anything to say on that.
Oh.
I don't know what they would make a sequel of. I don't know why they would make it, aside from what Saba said, which is to make money, which I guess apparently it's made a lot of money, so they probably will make a sequel. But I don't think they should make a sequel. I think it was a fine standalone movie. I think there's a lot of open-ended questions, which I'm hoping we'll get into about what's going on. So I don't think the sequel can do anything but either give answers to those that may or may not be satisfactory, and I just don't really see why. I do believe that Joaquin has said he's open to it, and man, that if they ask him to, he'll do it, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't really know where they would go with it if there was a sequel. I mean, in my head, whatever happens in this movie, he ends up in jail wherever he is, in mental institute, some combination of the two. Some point he gets out, and then he's Heath Ledger. I don't need anything in between. Heath Ledger is still the Joker. It's not Joaquin Phoenix.
Until further notice.
It's Heath Ledger. Now, in my head, it still looks like Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger may be dancing more than he did before after this movie, but it's still Heath Ledger. And I've seen some pretty bad movies, and I've never seen any of their sequels, so I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You go see the sequel of the worst movie you've ever seen in your entire life, Mr. Sable. That seems bad.
Here's the reason why I'm probably going to have to talk about it on a podcast.
Well, that's fair. Wish y'all great success. I hope you do.
Listen, this isn't attack me for my feelings on the movie.
It is.
I didn't attack anybody. I didn't attack anybody about liking it.
To your point, too, though, the main reason he actually signed on for this before, I didn't want to skip you, but just wanted to throw this out there, is the fact that it was a standalone film. So he is open to a sequel. I mean, this was made for $55 million, and it's already crossed $400 million in 2 weeks. So more than likely there will be a sequel if it's done right. Because he was actually offered the role for Doctor Strange, which I cannot see him as Doctor Strange at all. But he didn't want to be a part of multiple movies, this whole entire fucking thing to be tied into. So that's why Joker to him was more appealing. So,
I hate money too. I hate to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I hate to be a millionaire.
I'm going to see the fucking sequel with you.
Let's talk about it.
Sitting there fucking.
I'm probably going to hate it, and you're going to be like, this is the greatest DC
maybe I'll like
movie I've ever seen.
He's going to compare it to Godfather 2.
Yeah. Maybe I'll like it.
The hero's going to come out in some disgusting orange and brown uniform and just crush it.
It's just unnecessary.
Il Mama. Predictions over here.
Il Mama. Okay. So I don't think that the sequel will be too Batman intensive. I think it's going to be a lot more Joker. I'm kind of curious to see if they maybe show the perspective of maybe the people around him when these said events occurred. Mm-hmm. And that way we can see what actually happened.
Almost like a third person.
Yeah.
That's actually, I actually like that.
Like documentary style. I think it would be kind of cool to kind of see what actually happened.
Exactly.
And then we can kind of tie it together. I don't think it would be necessary to watch Batman in it again because we've already seen so many Batman movies with Joker in it. I think because Joker is a standalone movie, it would make sense for the sequel to be all about Joker and what the reality of his development actually occurred.
Right.
So that's kind of what I'm anticipating.
I've actually read or maybe heard somewhere that there's actually an ongoing discussion about potentially putting him in the Batman.
So
Jared Leto's going to murder him if he becomes
No. This is the Robert Pattinson one.
So Jonah Hill's going to play either the Riddler or the Penguin. They haven't decided yet, and he's going to be the main villain. But they've actually talked about potentially doing some sort of a cameo or a small role in that, which I don't think.
But Danny DeVito is still alive. Why wouldn't he do Penguin again?
That's a good point. So it's Jack Nicholson,
and
who was an outstanding Joker.
Yes,
and they asked Todd Phillips too, like, is this going to tie into the Batman with Robert Pattinson? And he said, if he has his way, absolutely not.
Okay.
So that's what, I mean, but then again, he's a director for this film. The studio owns the fucking movie, obviously. Yeah. They can do whatever the hell they want.
I don't think they should, but that Robert, you and I talked about this last week. The Robert Pattinson Batman is going to be a younger version of the Batman. I'm calling him the Batman now.
Yeah,
Batman. Yeah. He is a younger version of Batman that's going to focus more on his detective ability and less on sort of billionaire playboy with all these crazy toys and gadgets and technology, and really focus on him being the most, the best detective in the world or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe people are making a loose connection based on rumors that they've heard on that and sort of things that they've seen in this movie. But anyway.
So then why won't they make a movie called Bruce Wayne and just make it about his investigative skills? You know what I mean? Like, this could draw on forever.
DC people are idiots and they don't know how to make good movies.
Okay.
Yeah, they make great shows.
Clearly that's not true, because
they made one great movie.
Just sat here. I thought you were going to start crying at one point.
No, I'm over it. It's been almost 24 hours.
Sorry.
I almost thought we were going to try making you cry.
No, I'm disappointed in myself.
No, don't be.
My thing is, to Andrew's point again, I'm really tired of seeing Bruce Wayne's parents die. I think we've seen it like 5 or 6 fucking times already. Like, we get it.
Every Batman movie.
We know that they die.
They brought back the pearls, though. Did you notice that? That's an ode to the Jack Nicholson.
The original.
Yeah.
Well, not the original.
Yeah. And that was the only time where he was actually the hitman. Before, it was always the Joker wasn't the hitman.
Yes.
But he actually was. And that was the Joker's background, was that he was a former thug, per se. He's never really had a true backstory, but it's always been guessed that he was like a thug that kind of came up through this criminal enterprise. So for a sequel, again, to Nicole's point as well, like trying to see what really happened and what did not. Going into it, obviously not everything that happened in this movie really happened. To me, hardly any of it. Even if it did happen, I don't think it was the Joker's character that was there. Like, maybe he was there as a spectator, but that was not him. Because to me, just being a fan of the comics and everything else, like, the Joker's also a criminal mastermind. And this dude is not a criminal mastermind. He just happened to be a person that, has severe depression and anxiety and was just a victim of society and the system, and he finally fucking cracked. But he's definitely not a criminal mastermind by any means. So if there is a sequel, I would like to see if he is, maybe he was using this story to kind of turn it around on why he is, like where he is. But if it ends up being, let's just say this whole thing is true and it did happen the way it did, I would like to see him, whether if it's reading books or whatever, not really reading books, but seeing him become the criminal mastermind he's supposed to be.
They're fully stocked on the art of
You
war.
can read
and
that.
Right. How to be a criminal mastermind.
Getting his GED in Arkham.
Right. Exactly.
That'll be a great sequel.
Criminology 101.
Joker goes to school.
But you know what I mean. Like, that's the thing.
System.
It's like, this guy's not a mastermind by any means. Like, yeah, he may have started a movement if that
literally
really happened.
stumbled into
Literally.
it.
That's it. Like, and he went, on, we all saw what happened with De Niro, did his thing and started this whole fucking shit. But even New York at that time, though, like, one random dude shooting 3 yuppies in the subway, people would, like, it's New York, man. They're like, yeah, whatever. It's just 3 dead yuppies. Like, that's not really starting a whole entire movement. It's a great story, period. But how much of it is true, hopefully one day we find out. So as far as grades go, I think we'll probably go in reverse order because we know what Saba's probably going to give it. I give it a 9.8. Like I said, I think it's a fantastic film. The portrayal of Joker. To me, I mean, obviously this is a big plus for DC. DC has been, on a roll at least for this year. Shazam actually got great reviews. This, of course, is not part of the DCEU, but this is a step in a good direction. I don't know if it's the right direction, but it's a direction for DC. So big ups to Todd Phillips for stepping outside his comfort zone, making a fantastic film, and 9.8. That's That's what I give it.
No, I give it a 9. I really enjoyed it. And if you do take it out of the whole Batman perspective, then, it's still an awesome, awesome movie about a man who struggles and a man who has gone through psychological battle with his mom, with the people around him, with the people he works with. I mean, people, strangers. He struggles. He struggles completely. And I thought it was a good psychological, I wouldn't say thriller, but thriller. But I mean, you can really relate, I like that about the movie. I think you already gave your grade.
B+ still. 8.6, 86. I don't know. It's not that. I mean, it's not the greatest movie I've seen this year. It's not anywhere close to the greatest movie I've seen. It's a good movie. I liked it. I'll watch it again. When any of the Nolan movies come on TV, I'll sit there and watch them. I don't know what I'll do if this pops up on TV. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, those
definitely
movies
depends on your
are
mood.
just entertaining. I don't know what's going to happen with this thing.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I'll watch it again at least once. Saba, C-, C+, somewhere in there for the worst movie I've ever seen.
I'm gonna give it an incomplete.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give it a grade.
We're going elementary.
What I'm gonna say is I'm gonna watch it again. Definitely not at the movies. Definitely not on Netflix. Maybe once it comes on HBO or
it's
something.
definitely going on HBO.
You'll stumble across it.
Or maybe TNT.
They know drama.
I'm gonna give it another shot. I will watch it again, but I'm not prepared to. I'm not ready to take any more criticism or be chastised any further. But
I got a lot more, but
the one thing I'll say is this: I just want to, my it's still fresh for me.
Yeah, right.
So and Jordan said it was the best movie of the year. So I think that to me, I love Jordan, so maybe I'll give it another shot.
Yeah, like his favorite movie is Blade, right? So
Blade's awesome. Though.
Yeah,
well,
Blade
I'm
is
not saying I'm not
awesome.
discounting
What?
Blade, but
So you're
I thought
saying
you were
this?
for a second
So you're
there.
saying this is better than Blade?
it is better than Blade.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's up
I don't
there
think
for
so.
me. So I actually did a top 6 R-rated comic book movies. So Joker's in there.
how many are there?
Well, there's a ton actually.
I can think of 3. And you
Well,
just
because
named
there's
one.
actually a lot more movies based on comic books than people
Kick-Ass?
know. Like the history of violence is
Kick-Ass
actually
2?
based on a comic book.
Name
Is
the R-rated.
I mean, they're comics.
So
are
my
they really are?
top
I don't know.
6 is Joker, Logan, Deadpool, Blade, 300, and Watchmen. That's my top 6.
Mine
So
is Watchmen.
can I put Sin City in there?
Why?
Then?
Sin City's in
Okay.
there. Yeah.
All right. Well,
But
yeah, you're right.
that's
There's
my
a lot.
top
I don't think it's
There's a
better
lot.
than any of those.
I don't think it's better than any of those either. I
It's
still like
definitely. Listen, I want to say it's not the worst fucking movie I've ever seen. Okay,
I don't know where I got that idea
I
from.
was being a little dramatic. I do want to moonwalk back on that. Walk back on that. Okay, so there it is. But it's
I was going to
on
say,
that
worst
list.
It's
movie
not
I
your
ever seen was
atypical,
Catwoman.
I
That
walked
movie's
out
a
of
fucking dumpster
Men in
fire.
Black 3. It was terrible. I was a kid. I was
The
like,
Halle
I'm
Berry
Halle
one?
Berry Catwoman, yes.
Yes.
Daredevil was worse than this. I mean, come on. There's way worse
Yeah,
fucking
but
movies.
without Daredevil, there wouldn't have been the next Daredevil with
And Elektra.
yeah, Elektra. So
Yeah, there's-
it all
yeah.
means to an end.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But everybody's obviously entitled to their own opinion.
Thank you.
So that's why we do this. To have fun, interact, bust each other's balls. So time for some solo dubs is where we take a minute or two to get some shout outs out there. Mine is going to be a RIP to Robert Forster.
Yeah,
You may know
man.
him as Max Cherry from Jackie Brown. He was also in Me, Myself, and Irene. Actually, he was in El Camino as well. He's the guy that helps people disappear. So I can't remember I think his name is Ed, actually, in Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
The guy that works in the vacuum shop.
Yeah.
So all that stuff. And he's actually done numerous. I think he's got like 100+ movies to his credit. But he just passed away yesterday, right? So RIP to Robert Forster and his family. So, love, prayers, all that stuff.
68?
78, I believe.
78. I read the
I
article.
believe,
It was
yeah.
Twitter link.
Who's your solo dub?
I think always I'll take the opportunity to plug the water cooler at WC Sports Pod. We haven't really put anything out new in the last couple weeks. I've been having some conversations about Luke. We're going to get back. So, follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram at WC Sports Pod. Coming up soon, we're going to have an NBA preview. We'll have the NCAA football mid-season review, and the NFL mid-season review, where we go back and take a look at the predictions that we had in our preseason, in our previews, and kind of talk about that. So at WC Sports Pod, the water cooler, listen to us, please.
Shout outs, huh? Well, shout out y'all for having me back again. Really
We're glad
appreciate
to
it.
have you.
Yes.
Don't lie.
You're always a treat, man. Like I said,
Also-
I'm glad that you actually have good sort of like sound now.
Yeah.
No one knows where we were the last once or twice. So this is Wait fans. I don't know what to do with myself. There's microphones and headsets and spit guards and all sorts of stuff. Computers, speakers. Also, shout out the University of Florida Gators, who are not going to cover the spread tonight of 13.5 against LSU, but probably win outright. That will not be a bad thing to say when this airs Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yo, mama.
Shout out to my nephew, Nick. He celebrated his 3rd birthday last week.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And my sister, who is a phenomenal mom. I love her.
What's her name?
Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. Great job.
She works hard.
Good
and
job, Jen.
She's a great mom, so.
There you go.
That's a great shout out, for sure.
Good shout out.
Family's the best.
Shout out to your mom, too, Seba.
Yeah, my mom.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about it. Shout out to my mom. My mom, in the last week, has had cataract surgery on her left eye and broken her ankle. So, yes. So she's had a rough go at it. So, love you, Mom.
Get better.
Mom boobs. Get well soon. Make sure you check out our website, popculturepodcast.com, courtesy from our friends over at Zibster. That is ZIBSTER.com. Making some of the best websites on the planet, social services, SEO, all that fun stuff. Another big shout out, Andrew Newman joining us on the studio.
You're welcome.
Attorney at law. He's on our sponsor page as well. And, make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share the info with your friends. Let's get famous, and we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you next week.
What are they liking and subscribing to?
Zero Dark Nerdy.
There you go. Tell them what to like and subscribe to.
I mean, I hope they know what the fuck they're listening to by the end
If
of
they're
this.
here
Yeah,
at this
true.
point.
It's not like they're just tuning in. I'm going to
Like,
catch
man,
the
I
last
really
2
enjoyed
minutes.
that.
Catch the very end of this.
Zero Dark Nerdy, formerly known as Multi.
Bob.
Jordan would be so upset right now. And of course, shout out to Jordan, Jadon, and Matthew. They will be with us the next couple episodes down the road here in a little bit, but we'll catch you next week. Later.
Yeah! Victory! And anger management? Fuck anger management.